Hey everybody, back today, and I had a really interesting thought from last Friday's talk on recovering the initiative. I talked about my life has been pretty crazy this year, and things kind of all over the place, and so how I had to kind of get centered on this is what I got to do, and then kind of bring the foundational pieces and dependencies together to do it. And one of the things I didn't really mention is something that is actually, I think, really important to anytime you want to be successful at something hard. Like if you're working on something and it's a big deal and it's something that not everybody does and it's something that's hard. One of the things that people don't talk a lot about, but I think it's a fundamental, and it might not seem like a fundamental, but it is the place of discipline and or the where of discipline, right? Like where are you going to be disciplined? And I say that because I found a lot in my life that if I don't carve out a physical space that something's going to happen in, that something gets done in, that a particular thing happens regularly, it just doesn't happen. And I don't know why. Like there's simple stuff. Like here's a crazy one. Last fall, I was working out, um, and I was just having a tough time getting up in the morning to work out. And then one day I went down to the basement and I carved out a space. It's like this is the space that this happens in. And lo and behold, I could work out far more often because there was a space. And so I think the point of this is as you're trying to, you've gotten centered again, you're taking off on whatever big mission you're on. Um, in your life, having the where this happens, where this work goes or where this work is going to occur well defined in your head, um, helps you put yourself there when it's time to be there, so to speak. And some of that has to do with especially since I travel a ton for work, I'm not where I want to be. And so I've got to make some choices regularly. Like if I'm working out, I got to make some choices on where I'm going to do that workout, right? And so I'll talk later about equipment. That's kind of another talk. But I think for me, especially anything that needs to be done regularly, when I build that physicality. So I'll give you an example. I do Bible study, like in the morning before I do everything else. I do Bible study, and I have a place in my house I do that. And that place is just sort of associated with it. And I go there, and now it's morning, and I'm in this place, and that's what I do there. And I think the place is just really important. There's something about the mental acuity of, hey, I'm in this physical location, whatever that may be, whether that's your office, it's a desk, a table, it could be you've gone to the park, whatever it is, but you're trying to do this discipline thing, you set aside a space for that, a physical space. And I think there's just huge value in it, right? I think one of the things that people bemoan is this idea of not having a third space, right? A space to go meet people and hang out or whatever. But the same thing's true about what you're trying to do if it's a disciplined thing, right? If you're working out and you haven't picked out a space, and now you go and, oh, I should work out this morning, and you're in the middle of your living room, and you're just gonna like work out, but there's shoes, there's, I don't know, there's a laundry basket, whatever's in your way. Suddenly you went from, oh, I'm gonna work out, to, oh, I guess I need to do the laundry, or, oh, I got to clean this stuff up before. And now you've created an excuse. So part of picking the place to be disciplined is also this idea that place needs to be ready for that, right? So I mentioned that I regularly, I have this particular spot in my house that I do my Bible study. I have another spot in my house that I work out. And I realize those spots for you could be the same space, right? Technically, if you live in a bedroom apartment, the place you do things is pretty well predetermined. But it may be the case that getting out of that one bedroom apartment to work out, at a gym is actually more valuable to you. That actually the act of going to the place sort of puts you in the space in the headspace to get this done. And I think that's the other bit about having a where that you're being disciplined about something, is that like the act of going there prepares you for that disciplined activity. When I did go to a gym, there was a drive, and it was kind of like I would go through my head on the drive over to the gym. I would go through what I'm going to do that day. I would get my mind in the space that I could actually do the workout that I was supposed to do. So by having a place that I was working out that wasn't, just anywhere, and I wasn't doing it random, it did a better job of putting my head there. But it's also this thing of making sure there aren't distractions, right? Like if you're trying to be a writer, and it's kind of interesting for me as a writer, my place to write has been airplanes. Especially these days, airplanes are pretty silent. Everybody's got their headphones on. They're doing their own thing. It's pretty hard to actually crank up a conversation with somebody on an airplane. That could be a perfect place to do something disciplined. But I think the main thing is, if you've got something you haven't been able to do, something that you really want to do, something you think is important to you, something that you want to be regular about, like daily, I want to do X. Have you taken time to define a space? Do you have a place that you're going to do this thing? And then what are the prerequisites for that place to be ready to do the thing? Like one of my pet peeves about the place that I actually do my Bible study is I have there's a kitchen counter with a chair right behind it, like it's kind of a bar in the kitchen that I sit down to do my studies at, because it's not this room with all its distractions. It's not, but if groceries came in the night before and they didn't get all put away, now there's stuff in my space. So as far as that space goes, like I make sure before I go to bed that's kind of cleaned up. I try to make sure that area is ready to go, so when I get up in the morning it's there. And I think that's just one of these fundamental things that if you've got a discipline you're trying to do, whether it's I'm going to read a book every month, I'm going to do my Bible study, I'm going to work out, I'm going to I'm going to build a business, right? Where are you doing that? What is the space you've allocated that in your head, hey, if I'm in this space, this is what I'm doing. And maybe what's special about it, right? I'll talk about equipment, making sure you've got the right equipment to be disciplined tomorrow. But just think about it, is as you're deciding to go, you've gotten centered, you got the initiative back, you're ready to go solve problems, do the thing you decided you're going to go do. Have you set aside space, a place that I am doing this? Because I can tell you a lot of times I've seen people just get derailed in that of they didn't think about the space, and now it's always a problem, right? Like working out is a problem, so they don't have the space to do it, and so they don't invest in the gym, and then it never happens. Or any number of things. If you don't have the space to actually do what you're doing, it's a problem. So think about it, as you're getting ready to do this big thing that you're doing, you've gotten centered, you're going to go do that. Make sure you've allocated a space, defined a space that you're going to go do the thing, whatever the thing is. Because it sure helps me having a defined space, right? Like I said, I'm actually getting ready to go travel a bunch right now. And in my head, I've got two things I'm doing. I got a bunch of postcards I need to send people. Well, I'm going to do that space on the airplane. And then I've got, I'm going to do writing on the plane. So anyway, catch you all next time.